Hey, what's up you guys, my name is Brooke and welcome back to my channel. And today's video is going to be a book review. Oh yes, we have one of my, I think this is like only the second book review I've done in 2017. 2017 has not been a good reading year for me, like at all. I've read very little books and it's not been the best year for me. Here's to hoping 2018 is a lot better, but I read one book during my first semester of college. I read it for a class, so like I really enjoyed this book, so I decided I would do a review on it, and the book that I'm going to be reviewing for you guys today is Woman on the Edge of Time by Marge Piercy. I don't have a copy with me because it was, I got it from my school's library, so I obviously had to return that before the semester was over, but I will put a picture of it here for you to look at while I talk about it. So like I said in my last book review, I'm trying to keep a kind of format for my spoiler-free book reviews. I'm going to give you a synopsis, my rating, 3 pros and 3 cons, and some of my feelings on it, and that'll be that. So we're going to start off with my synopsis. So Woman on the Edge of Time follows our main character, Connie Ramos, who is a Mexican-American woman living in New York City in the 70s, and her life as she is institutionalized in a mental institution for protecting her niece Dolly from Dolly's pimp. Abusive pimp at that. Though she's institutionalized for being quote-unquote insane, she really does not seem to be insane or even the slightest bit crazy. As it turns out, Connie can communicate with the future. She contacts a person named Luciente from 2137. She learns a lot about herself, her own struggles, and the struggles of her society in the 1970s as a whole, as she experiences the new things of this futuristic community. She struggles to understand and implement all that she has learned, and she can be very skeptical at times. And on top of all of this, Connie is being pressured into a surgery to quote-unquote correct what is quote-unquote wrong with her. It's a lot. So as for my rating, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I found it very interesting. I had to write a 8 to 10 page paper on this book, so I got very into the text. I got very deep with it, so I figured this would be a great book to review since I had to get so close to the text and do a very close reading of it. I gave it 4 to 5 stars, and now we're going to go into my 3 pros. So the first pro is I really loved how Marge Piercy, the author, used the experiences that Connie had as a poor Mexican-American woman in New York City to explain and show the differences between the now, 1970s New York, and the future. She used this to kind of explain the way things were, and I really enjoyed that. My second pro is the book is considered a feminist novel. It's supposed to be like one of like the really like good feminist novels from the 70s, and I'd agree. It deals with a lot of feminist concepts and ideology, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. That's, you know, actually why I had to read the book and write the paper. It includes a lot of postmodern feminism, feminist ideals. I loved how I laced the ideology throughout the narrative of the book without becoming preachy. It was still very interesting, but it didn't preach at you about the ideas of this book. It just wove them in there very seamlessly. My third pro is that there's lots of diversity in this book. There's all sorts of different people of different races, backgrounds, sexual orientations, just all sorts of stuff. There's tons of diversity in this book. I mean, our main character is a Mexican-American woman, so there's tons of different, you know, things at play here, and there's lots of different people, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the book. As for my 3 cons, I did have a couple issues with the book. For my first con, I have to say that I found the beginning, though it starts in a very intense place with, you know, her niece coming to her after being abused by her boyfriend and pimp, Geraldo. I found it to move really slowly and be kind of dull. It was kind of hard for me to get through the first part of the book, which is not something you want to happen, because if you're bored with the beginning, a lot of times people won't finish. So I found that to be kind of disconcerting, but it did pick up, but the beginning was very kind of dull. My second con is that Connie is rather annoying at times. She can be related to that person who goes somewhere new and somewhere different and expects everything to be the exact same as the place she left. She's also kind of condescending towards the people of this futuristic society who are being very open and very kind. They welcome her with open arms, and sometimes she kind of treats them like crap, in my opinion. So I found that to be kind of problematic as like a character flawed, and I didn't really enjoy that because, I mean, like, obviously she's going to be, you know, surprised and confused by all these new ideas that this society has, but she doesn't have to be mean about it. I just found that to be very, very saddening for me. Okay, third con. The third con of this book is that the ending kind of irritated me because I feel like more, obviously I can't go into details because this is spoiler free, but I feel like more could have been done to expand on the ending and what happened rather than just leaving it the way that it was. I feel like it kind of like ended and then like had some stuff at the end that wasn't really needed. I just wish things had been a little bit more wrapped up, had a little bit more closure at the end of it, but maybe that's just me. Alright, so those are my 3 pros, my 3 cons, all about One Day at a Time by Marge Piercy. So just some of my feelings. I really did enjoy this book. I liked it a lot. Once you get past the beginning, it does pick up and it gets to be very interesting, and I would recommend that you read it. Especially if you are very into like feminist ideology and feminist concepts. I wrote a paper on the postmodern feminist ideals that are in this book. It deals a lot, I feel like, with intersectionality as well and femininity, and I found those aspects to be very interesting as well. Even without looking at it through like all of these like feminist perspectives and lenses, it still is a very interesting narrative. I mean, she's going to the future and experiencing the future and seeing the way things have changed, and she also visits an alternate future at one point. She also sees where things can go. So she kind of sees the 2 sides of the spectrum of where if things don't change in her time now, where things can go good or things can go bad, and I found that very interesting. I really love this book. I totally think that you should read it. I'll leave a link to it on Goodreads down below. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this book review. I really hope you picked this book up. If you've read this book, I really would love to know some of your thoughts on it and your thoughts on my review of it. If we agreed, disagreed, whatever it may be, I would love to hear your thoughts. So that's it for this video, guys. That was my spoiler-free review of Woman on the Edge of Time by Marge Piercy. And that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Until the next video.